Mundane heaven, mundane heaven, mundane heaven. You know, some of us, or at least I do, have always wondered what a day in the life of God would be like. What a day in the life of God would be like. This is God. So we assume that his life is as extravagant as we envisage God to be, that his days are colorful, spectacular, full of, full of, full of. There is no word to express what those things that he will be doing would even compromise of, because he is God, he is eternal. But I did look, and I do have a partial revelation. Don't assume what I'm about to say is everything, but it is something. We look in Revelations, we look at the heavens, worshiping God 24/7, and we think, wow, that is amazing, until you realize that God made them all. To him, it is not that great a deal. Not that he doesn't appreciate it, not that he doesn't receive it, but it is not as great as a deal as we think. Sorade Hebron. Sorry, this is the God I'm speaking about. I just need to catch myself. It is not as majestic as we may hope it for it to be. Perhaps some of us would wonder what it would be like to be God, how it would feel as if you were God. Would you have everything that you desired? Could you do everything that you wanted? Could you be everything? Would you be more if you were God? And if you look at him, you will realize it is not that big a deal for him to being God. He humbles himself. He is humbled. He humbles himself. He is humbled. It is not that great a deal. The elders take off their crowns to bow before him, but the crowns belong to him. He gave it to them. It is not that great a deal. Heaven knows his name. Heaven worships him. Heaven looks to him for direction, for answers. But he made heaven. He extended his hand. It is not that great a deal for them to look up to him, though he appreciates it. He answers them. He respects it and every living creature within. But at the end of the day, he made them all. It is not that great a deal. A day in the life of God is not as amazing as we may hope or think or envisage it to be. Yes, it is colorful. Yes, he is God. Yes, everything acknowledges him, recognize him. But there is a work, there is a work, there's a lot of thought processes that goes through it. He needs to make sure that everything is aligned, that everything is productive, that everything is working. He works twice as hard as anything and everything else ever made, because everything depends on him. It is not as great a job as you may think it is. There are a lot of responsibilities, and everything falls on him. All the pressure is on him. The responsibility of things going right or wrong are all on him. Everybody looks to him for answers. Everything looks to him for solutions, for directions. It is not that great a deal. It is responsibilities. It is a burden. You may want to be God for a day, but spend a day in his shoes, and you may realize it is not that great a deal. It is not as desirable as you may think it to be. That just because he is God does not mean that everything is everything. There's much to be done. There's a great work to do. There's a lot of responsibilities, a lot of eyes that he needs to maintain open, watching, guiding, showing, influencing, helping, being a friend, being a father, being a creator, being a God. It is not as great as we think it to be. It keeps him humble. It keeps him humble. It keeps him humble. And you are like him. Be humble, but have responsibilities. Be humble, but maintain your responsibilities. Do your works. Adam was instructed to take care of the garden, to be responsible over it, to take care of it, to prune it, to make sure everything was working well. It is a work. Being a God or being God himself is a work. It's not as great as you think it is, but it is a wonderful feeling nevertheless to know who you are and what you're capable of. Do you know who you are and what you are capable of? Take a look and see. Maybe you see it differently, but from what I do know, it is not as great as we may think it is, but he is still a great God, nevertheless. This was an interesting insight. Perhaps it will bless somebody, or maybe you'll be offended. It was just a thought. It is just a thought.